Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Good morning and welcome to Fight CPS with Bob Pace. I'm your host for this 1 hour podcast that is live around the world. You just heard from my attorney, Vincent Davis, and I'm experiencing a lot of lag this morning. So my delay of my facial features are dragging. So my computer really needs to be cleaned. The live podcast that Vincent's talking about this Saturday coming up is a question and answers. And you should really reserve your time with that and also join our CPS school because you get a lot of insight about other podcasts. Now, Mr. Davis, as he said, he's been fighting CPS for 35 years. He is a dependency family juvenile attorney. He has a family law, juvenile law, and dependency law. Dependency law is the law that you're in. That's one that CPS uses. And CPS uses that dependency law to take your children. And the sad part about it is they steal your children, they traffic your children, and they abuse your children. Now, why am I saying that? Well, if Mr. Davis would say the same thing, he's been defending a lot of clients that have been wrongfully accused. Families are broken apart for no reason. Families, children are stolen from them. And you probably say, hey, how can an agency be that bad? Well, I'll tell you, I've had 15 years experience fighting CPS. I've done over a year of podcasts twice a day. That's 14 shows a week. And that's over 600 people that I've texted to or talked to. And not only in the United States, all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., but I've also talked to 17 countries from around the world, from Bangladesh to India, to the Middle East, to Africa, to Europe, to North America, to South America, and to the Pacific with Australia and New Zealand. And they all have something very much common. My children are being stolen. I was speaking with a lady from South Africa, Leica, and she had a horrible, horrible case. And she is trying to fight with Parliament. They don't have a Congress. They call their Congress Parliament. Now, my shows are on every day, twice a day. They come on at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, and 7 o'clock at night, Pacific Standard Time. They're 1 hour shows. Now, there are some exceptions. On this Saturday upcoming, I like to be on the show at 8 o'clock in the morning, so that way to give enough time for Vincent Davis to do his podcast at 9:30. He has a 1 hour podcast at 9:30 on Saturday. On Sunday, I come on at 8 o'clock in the morning because I go to church, and church is very important to me. You got to have something to keep the faith, to keep your sanity. And believing in God has kept my sanity. And let me adjust the camera a little bit here. I wish it wouldn't be so laggy, so it makes my face and eyes move slowly. But I'm glad you found me. You found me on Facebook, Fight CPS with Bob Pace. There are 8 rooms that filter into this room. One room is on YouTube, and the rest of them are on Facebook. So no matter what room you find me, you'll be connected with this room, which is live podcasts. And so the comments that you text me or make in this room, I will see whether you're in other rooms or not. Now, there are 4 ways to interact with this podcast. First way is by being in this room. Please send emojis and listen carefully and check below to follow or check for notification. Number 2, if you want to text a message, all I ask you is that you make your comments and your questions pertain to CPS. Please show your name. First name's fine. Your city or county where the case was, the state. And if you're from a country, I'd like to know your country, and you have provinces, list those also. And try to be complete with your CPS case. Try to be complete with your CPS case. Furthermore, you can also be a guest on our podcast. All you have to do is contact my show producer, Grace, who works very hard behind the scenes making the show run right. When you do contact her, you let her know one of the 14 shows you want to be on, and she'll give you the link. You can send an email to grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's grace@vincentwdavis.com. And she will contact you and give you the link. You get on. If you happen to get bounced off, the link is good for the whole show. So she also will tell you about what to do and not to do on the show, and try to help you as much as possible. Now, the 4th way to interact with this podcast is you can call in right now, 626-698-0990. My phone number is live. You can talk to me during my show times, but not before or after. I can only take calls during my show times. That's 626-698-0990. Now, there's another number on the screen you see, 888-888-6582. That's my law offices. That's the law office of Vincent W. Davis Associate. He can also be reached there if you wish to retain him. And so you would call 888-888-6582. Also, you can get attorneys for other legal matters, immigration, real estate, the workplace, auto damages, injuries, auto injuries, criminal law, divorce law. All those you can get help from. Now, there's one thing I meant to tell you. Somehow we lost on the bottom of my screen. Where did it go? I did it there. I guess it went off. Okay. If you want to speak to Vincent Davis, I got several ways you can go to. I've given the number of his office. That's one way you can go there. Another way, if you're a guest on my podcast or call in live on the phone, then you qualify for a free consultation with Mr. Davis. That is for 15 minutes and no charge. 15 minutes, no charge, and he'll talk to you about your case and help negotiate and how you're going to go through CPS to get your children back. And so you can do that by being live. And after you did your guest on the show or did your phone call, then you text me your name, your phone number, and email. And Vincent, my show producer, will get it and help you get on to the podcast. Help you get on to a Zoom meeting, a private Zoom meeting with attorney Mr. Davis. Now, if you need more time than 15 minutes, I made another negotiation with Mr. Davis that you could talk to him for 30 minutes for $60. That's 30 minutes for $60. And all you have to do is see that web link at the bottom of my screen that's been repeated over and over. That web link will take you to the site. And once you're there at the site, you'll be connected with that site. You use your credit card and you make your meeting. You make your session with him for that 30 minutes. You do that all at the same time. And you have to go to that website. Now, I have 5 rules that I talked to really briefly. If you go to any of my podcasts, you can hear the whole version in its entirety. Rule number 1 is you must have an attorney. And the attorney that I'm telling you must have should be a dependency law attorney experience in family law and juvenile law, along with dependency law. Those 3 go hand in hand. And you need to find that attorney and have them in place, because you cannot fight this on your own. If you fight this agency, it's like open heart surgery. It's so difficult without an attorney to fight. And when you ask for an attorney, the first questions you should ask, are you a family juvenile dependency lawyer? And next, you should ask them, have you fought CPS and won cases? And lastly, have you ever filed a civil lawsuit against CPS and won a case, either in state or federal court? The answer to those 3 questions are yes, you got yourself a very good attorney. They're hard to find. A lot of attorneys don't want to sue CPS. A lot of attorneys don't go longer, with your time spent with him. So I'm telling you, now there is another attorney, a court-appointed attorney, that is provided when you don't have funds for a paid attorney. The only problem is using a court-appointed attorney is that a court-appointed attorney will not fight for your case because he has a caseload of 30 or more people. On top of that, he's a criminal lawyer. He's not a family juvenile dependency lawyer. He doesn't have the background, so he won't fight for your case. He works for social services, so he's contaminated. And he knows he's going to get X number of dollars for being a court-appointed attorney. They don't fight. And the sad part is CPS hopes you take a court-appointed attorney. Why? Because you can't say anything in court. Only your attorney can. And furthermore, the court-appointed attorney may not be enough. May not be enough to save your children or save your family. You see, CPS, and I call it the child protection system, was mandated by law to protect our children from neglect or abuse. But they aren't doing so. A 5-year-old girl in Kansas last week died because of what happened to her when she was living in a very extreme, harsh environment. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, I can't afford. Well, I had to sell my home to get my attorney. It takes a lot of money to get a good attorney, a pit bull attorney. The sad part is that my children were taken without permission. They weren't in danger. They violated their constitutional rights. They were taken illegally for the sole purpose of generating money. You see, there was a 1997 act signed by President Bill Clinton that basically gave incentive by money to all the child protection systems to complete the adoption into foster care. There's not that push for family reunification. It's not that push. And that family reunification is what's important. It should be, because the best parent studies have shown have been the biological parents to take care and raise children. Those are the best parents. Now, furthermore, they're supposed to mandated to protect from neglect and abuse, and also try to help you in food, shelter, clothing, transportation, medical, and educational, and even a job. Even a job. Now, another rule that I would mention is the rule is keeping your documents together in a 3-ring binder, a large binder, filled with notebook paper and subject dividers. One of the most important documents in there is what's called a timeline incident log. It's where you keep track of all your incidents. They can be with CPS, police, school personnel, your children, other family members, whatever it is. You write it all down there. And you, on the first line, you put the date, the time, the location, and who is involved. Next, we see here. With that time log, you'll be able to tell about your situation a year from now or 6 months from now, which is real important, real critical information there. So, with that incident log, the second line you want to put is the summary of the incident. The third line is you want to put the outcome. You keep repeating that over and over. Now, the third rule is that you want to say no to social workers. Do not allow them in your home. Do not allow them to take your children. You have to learn. That's very hard to do when you take away they take away your child and so forth, because they're in violation. In my case, my children were illegally taken. They were not in imminent danger. They were actually put into danger instead of being in jail. Moving on. Oh, the outcome. Don't forget the third line, the outcome of the incident. It's all important because a year from now, you may not remember it. So don't forget every incident you have with your children, police, social services, the doctors, the school people, family relatives, whatever you want to. Now, rule number 3 is that you take time to not let them in your home or answer the door. You just tell them you don't say anything. You don't answer the door. You play possum. Now, moving on to rule number 3, as I already said, you do not let them in. There's only 3 ways they can remove your children or get into your home or make you talk to them. 1, if you give them permission, and no one wants to give them permission. No one wants to give them permission. And 2 is that there's physical harm coming to your child, like domestic violence that's got out of hand. You do not argue in front of children. Also, if you're outside, talk to them briefly. Just say, when they ask you a question, just say, I need to get legal representation or I need to call my attorney. You need to say, I need to call my attorney. That'll give you stalling time because they don't know if you have an attorney or not. And you need to right away call that attorney. Now, that will quiet it down. You do tell them that you will meet with them, but do not meet with them at their office or at home because they'll use what they find against you. Now, there's another part of this. It's called medical trafficking. That's where a child you take into the hospital or urgent care is taken from you. There are social workers that hang out and they construe or misunderstand what a doctor says, and they'll try to take your child with them. Do not give them to them. They have to have a warrant. A warrant is a legal piece of paper that's signed by a judge and very specifically gives the names of the party accused and what they're accused of, and then the benefit of a benefit of the body there. So that's all really important. Now, another way of medical trafficking is having a baby. And that baby is something that you have to really think about. As I tell you, I am trying very hard with a computer that needs cleaning. And I need to have a code given to me because when I clean the computer, the code will leave. My face is lagging so bad right now. And it makes it look like I'm closing my eyes. But when I blink, they don't reopen right away quickly. And I have to adjust and play with the mouse all the time. Now, I have a person that just came to the room called Do Not Complain. Welcome. Hold on one second, please, people in the room. Okay. Um, I am got a message here from Don't Complain. I have no idea um, where um, you're from, but he is. They have said, "Who makes the final say for child to go back to abusive home?" Well, first of all, no one is going to make any child go back to abusive home. Now, I guess you say don't complain, so I don't know if you're trying to give a silent message here, but the CPS people that I've talked to, and I've only seen 3 of them on this show, where are the rest of them? Don't complain. I've had so many mothers on here and fathers. I had one father that went up to Alaska to try to be with his children, whose mother recently had died, and he pitched a tent to be close to him. I have mothers all the time. I had a mother named Crystal Sandazar, who is going through a retaliation of a social worker who was fired, and the other social worker is doing revenge. I myself had a social worker that was on the witness stand that committed perjury, and our attorney, Vincent Davis, said to the social worker, "What kind of parents?" These were the people that were trying to adopt our daughter, are my wife's sister and husband. And she said, "Oh, they're great parents." Yes. Do they ever have domestic violence? And yes, they have no domestic violence. So they said they're perfect. Well, he said, "Wait a minute. I have a report I want to read you." And he had like 30 of them. So he read one by one, and all of them were physical domestic violence. And the social worker was so embarrassed. She hung her head and she left. But she told us parents that you'll never see your daughter again. And what she did, she convinced her 12-year-old daughter to emancipate from the parents. In California, legal age is 12. So she divorced mom and dad. She divorced her brothers, her sisters. She divorced her grandparents, her aunts and uncles and cousins. Divorced them all. Furthermore, the social worker said you need to change your name completely, and she changed her name completely. You can do that at 12 years of age. And seal your birth certificate so that she could be legally adopted by a foster care person who could put their names as the biological mom and dad. That's not true. Not only that, she got a false social security card, another one. And now she's milking the social security illegal funds. She's getting paid twice, which is wrong. And what I mean by that is that there was, this is ridiculous. It's so filled of so many social workers out there. And I said, I've only met 3 of them on this show out of over 600 some people. So where are they? And no one's going to send anybody back in abusive homes. Where were the social workers when they took care of that 5-year-old girl that was innocently killed? She was raped in a home. She left. She went in the woods. And in Kansas, they finally found her and they tried to revive her, but she was too far gone and she's dead. Where were the social workers there? And, I could go on about the pink ladies, who are these 8 social workers that decided to stencil on the front of their pink T-shirts, "Professional child kidnappers." And on the back, they put, "Parents, do you know where your children at?" Now, Don't Complain has said, while my daughter is in a facility, she tried to kill herself because the mom was abusing her, and 30 days later, they're sending her back to the mother. Well, first of all, you said your daughter was in a facility. And that facility is the one that's causing abuse there. And the mom was abusing her there. So it's the facility, it's not the parents of the biological parents, it's the adopted foster care. And in Oakland, California, the CPS case should not allow that. And you can actually call 911 and make a complaint against somebody abusing your daughter. You can make that complaint. And if you had an attorney, I'm talking about a defense law attorney, they would make a difference in your case. And I'm so sorry that they're still abusing your daughter instead of protecting your daughter. But that's how foster care people are. Foster care do not go through any screening. They don't. They don't do that at all. They don't do through any screening. And I want to help you. Don't complain. If you have another name that would be easy to use, then don't complain. Because I don't know what you mean by don't complain campaign. Because we should complain. We should be fighting CPS. They're the ones that are corrupt. They're the ones that are corrupt. And we should fight them really, really hard. Now, if you want to call in, I welcome you to call in. And my number is 626-698-0990. Or be a guest on my podcast by sending an email with the show time to grace@vincentwdavis.com. Because I want to help you in Oakland, California. Now, I have rule number 4. That's the internet rule that you spend a good 60 hours on, but you have to phrase your question right. You put the words Oakland, California, followed by the letter CPS. And right away, you're going to find things that pertain to Oakland, California. If you want to be more precise, say you want the manual and procedures of CPS, or you want to know how to find a dependency lawyer, or you want to know how to file a 388 motion or file 160 hearing. There are so many topics that are out there that can help you on the internet. So spend a good amount of time. And lastly, gather all your documents, and you can make copies of birth certificates, social security cards, driver's license, marriage certificates, any health records, medical records, your grade reports of your children, and so forth. All these documents should be kept in a folder along with that notebook, because you'll need that. You'll need that all the time there. Now, I know how much it must hurt as a mother to have this child be abused for 33 days. But what you can do is you can call 911 and say your daughter is being abused and where it is. Now, CPS doesn't vet or check out foster care people at all. They don't check out foster care people at all. I'm jiggling the camera and moving around so that I'm trying to make it so that my eyes don't look like they're closed or my mouth is moving more frequent with it. So by moving the camera, it seems like from my view, my eyes are staying open and my mouth is moving. It's really, really hard when the computer it slows it down. I'm supposed to be going fast at 500 baud per second, but it doesn't seem like it's doing that very good job there. Now we got some more people that come in, and maybe my comments are being a little delayed here. Leanna Dawn, welcome to Leanna Dawn. I've been ordered to no contact with my children, with the only reason being a positive drug screen. Well, I don't know how the drug screen goes there, but that should not prevent you from having visitation rights or seeing your children. It may have taken your children away because if you're on drugs, that's not good for being around children. I don't know if you are on drugs or that's a false reading. Last night I had a person that wanted to do a fifth test. They had done 4, they tested negative, but they still felt the tests weren't good enough. They want a fifth one. They're trying to get you on drugs. That's one of the easiest ploys that CPS does. Now, Leanna Dawn is further stating, I'm trying to find out where she's from. Leanna Dawn, if you could tell me your city or your county and where you're from there. Evening. Okay, it's morning here, Leica. I know you're in South Africa, so evening in South Africa. Welcome from South Africa. And okay, how's your daughter being put in a mental hospital? Don't complain, are you the grandparent of a daughter who has a child? This is what I'm trying to understand. It's not very clear of don't complain message there. Let me go ahead with Leanda Dawn. She's from Bedford County, Virginia. Bedford County. Okay. So you're from Bedford County, Leanna, and let's see what further that you're saying there. I'm having trouble with the camera angle right at the moment. She further says, Leanda says, my behavior, ability to care for my children needs have never been a concern, nor have they acknowledged any of my protective capability when making safe decisions. I've not been informed of a detailed plan or timeline to reverse this. The contact orders forced me from my home, sleep in my vehicles below freezing temperature. Well, first of all, you should never be forced with your behavior. Oh, you're the stepfather. I'm trying to get guardianship. I'm so sorry. I thought you were a mother. Okay. Stepfather, do you have a first name I could use? And whereabouts you're from? Thank you for the rainbow, Leica Hartzenberg from South Africa. Glad to see you again. Leanna Dawn, doing drugs is your choice, but it shouldn't be done in front of children. I don't know what you're actually accused of. Are you accused of just being tested positive, or were your children found to be in danger or neglect because of the drugs? I don't know. You didn't tell me clear enough, Leanda, what the accusation is. And being tested for positive should not exclude you from visitation with your children. And that can be corrected. That can be corrected. Can be corrected. Okay. Leica says, okay, you're Fred from Oakland, California. Okay, Fred, that's right. You did tell me earlier from Oakland. I'm so sorry, Fred. Now I kind of understand it. So now I can go back and read what you were trying to say, uh, Fred. That was. Let me go back and read it there. Okay, Fred, you'd asked a question: who makes the final say? It's the judge. The judge in the dependency law court makes the decision. CPS can only give recommendations, but the judge has to order it. So you hopefully you have your attorney. Um, so you're a stepfather. Do you have any court order that says that you're a guardian or that you have a relationship with that daughter? Because it's going to be really hard for you to fight for your stepdaughter. And so you're saying that the mother, okay, she goes to the facility, she's in a mental facility, and the mom of your stepdaughter, I guess, was once your girlfriend or boyfriend, I mean, girlfriend um, or lover, was abusing her. And so at the facility, does her biological mom reside at the facility? How is she abusing Fred on that there? I'm trying to understand what some of you are saying there. Um, yeah, Leica is trying to help out. She says, um, Leanna, what is the real reason why you have no contact? Okay, you have a court date on March 1st, Fred. What is the court date about? Is it because you're trying to get guardianship of your stepdaughter? Is that what you're trying to do? And Alina Don, the statements from the CPS worker is that the positive screen puts my children at risk for neglect. Well, it depends what you're tested for. Just because you tested positive doesn't mean you can't go to a drug rehab and get fixed. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. I've requested that they explain how their actions with the policy and state code they have been since to provide either. I've not been accused of anything other than having a positive screen. Well, you said you were accused of neglect. It's either neglect or abuse or both. So you've been accused of neglect. And I guess being neglect is the drug you tested for. I don't know if it was a recreation drug or it was an exotic drug or another kind of drug there. I don't know. I don't know. I've not been accused of anything other than having a positive screen, nor have not been accused of using around my children or expose them to any threats in their safety. Well, if you're going to have children, illegal drugs are no. Illegal drugs are no in the child protection system. Illegal drugs are not allowed. So if you're going to have children, you can't do illegal drugs. You just can't. No matter if you do it at the back of the house or somewhere else. You have to make up your mind. Do you want to raise your children or do you want to do illegal drugs? Now, Leanna, who accused you of using drugs? How were you? Was a layperson called in? Was it your mother? Was it the biological father? Who accused you of using drugs? These be tested in the first place. They don't arbitrarily test all the time right away. They don't. Leica is trying to help you out there, Leanna, and she wants to help you. Fred, I want to help you too. I want to help you too. So is your court date March 4th about guardianship of your stepdaughter? Okay. Now, Fred, I don't know if that was your girlfriend or lover there, but the biological mother is a cause of abuse. She shouldn't be with the abusive mother. You need to inform the judge. Do you have a dependency lawyer or do you have a court appointed attorney? Leica is also saying if you use drugs, stop it immediately and get your system clean and prove it. If you don't do drugs, then do a drug test in front of them. Well, you can do a drug test by your own doctor that's been approved by the judge, or you can use the court. I'd be very leery of the CPS drug people because they want to test positive. They want to take your child. You see, all of you are talking to me because you don't seem to understand that CPS makes money off our children. It's $1 trillion business. The 1997 Act that President Clinton signed into law gave money incentives to CPS is if you go ahead and foster care the children out. They say it's too long to hold out to do family reunification, which is wrong because family reunification should be it because the parents, the biological parents, are the best parents to raise the children. Studies have proven there. Okay, so Leanna Leelanda, I don't know why I'm calling Leanna. Leelanda, it was an anonymous report. Okay. The screens were false positive from a prescribed medication that are proved force for. CPS says medications do not cause false positive. Well, you're going to have to get some legal help to do that because you're going to have your attorney and a doctor say that's not true. You got to have that doctor come as your witness in court because on a piece of paper means nothing. The doctor has to be in court so the judge can ask questions. I have medical statement for a physician confirming the false positive was due to the medications. Judge would not allow this to be submitted into evidence. It's hearsay. You need to have. Now, I don't know what kind of attorney you got, but attorney has to have the person present in the courtroom because it's hearsay on a piece of paper. It's hearsay on a piece of paper. Nalika says the daughter can fight for custody of the biological mother is the abuser. Oh, I'm sorry. The stepfather can fight for custody if the biological mother is the abuser. Yes, he can. He can get guardianship because I don't know if he's married to the mother. See, this is the problem. A lot of you have children. If you're not married, your rights, if you're not the biological parent, your rights are nil unless you get guardianship. So if you're not going to get married, you got to have joint guardianship or joint custody of the child, and that has to go through the courts. That has to go through the courts. Now, I believe the agencies target lower income families that can afford a proper representation and take their children acting as the largest child trafficking organization in our country. Yeah, they do target it. That has been proven. I can guarantee they do target low income and people that don't know how to fight CPS, that don't have an attorney represent them. That's where it's a hard time. That's where it's a hard time. Now, Leica says during her issues, I refused her drug test and bought my own and did 5 different tests in front of a nurse. My reason is because the CPS told me so many lies and false accused me. I brought my own test results. I don't trust the CPS with their tests. I agree. You shouldn't trust them. I went to a nurse and she picked 5 tests and I did my tests in front of her. All 5 were clean. All 5 were clean. Now, Fred from Oakland, California, you can get a guardianship of your stepdaughter. Now, were you married to that mother that has been abusing her for 33 days? Or were you just lovers or boyfriend, girlfriend? I don't know. I'm guessing right now, with you on that. Leanda, the best thing for you to do is don't do any drugs, which, okay, you say you don't. You take medication that's given false reading. Well, in order to have that proved in court, you better have a dependency lawyer submit, have that person come there as a witness to that documentation. The person that said that has to be present to the judge. Otherwise, the piece of paper is hearsay. The paper is hearsay. You got to subpoena that witness and have him testify in court, Leanna, and that should help out. In order to do so, you need an attorney that knows how to do that. And as Leica said, the judge does accept it. So if you subpoena the doctor to your court case and have him tell the judge that is false, is the best way to do it. He has his background as a medical doctor, but he must say under oath in court in front of the judge, a piece of paper won't work. A piece of paper won't work. It's all hearsay. Now, I have about 5 minutes left of my podcast. So, what I'd like you to do is that you're still welcome to call in at 626-698-0990 or be a guest on my podcast by contacting my show producer, Grace at VincentWDavis.com. Now, by being a guest and calling in, you will get a free 15-minute session, a Zoom private session with Mr. Davis. Now, Mr. Davis, for 15 minutes, we'll talk to you free about your case and the strategies on your case. All you have to do is be a guest or call in and talk on the phone, and you can get that. Lelanda and Leica and Fred. And Fred's the one that is a complaint person. Fred, I need to know, you haven't answered my question, the relationship to the mother of the child. Let me see here. Good morning. Bob Pace here.
Hello.
Hello, who's this?
Hi.
You've called into my office number. You're live on a worldwide podcast. How can I help you?
Well, Vincent Davis really isn't the way he acts. He's actually kind of rude, and he'll bash you if you do drugs. He won't help you. He rob you for your money. I don't recommend him to nobody because he really did nothing for my girl.
Well,
He's all he did was put her down and bash her. She paid $10,000.
I don't know. You haven't identified your name. I don't know. I'm sorry that things didn't work out with Mr. Davis. And I do want to help you. We're not here to bash other people. Now, if Mr. Davis did you wrong, if you give me your name and your phone number, I'll have Mr. Davis call you. But I want to be very professional. We're not in here to badmouth people. Yes, I do say CPS is corrupt. I do say that CPS has gone rogue, but that's based on their actions. So, Leica further says, she can see her doctor and discuss the matter with her doctor, and he can write a letter to the court. There are medicines that have things in it that can make you test positive for a legal drug test. True, but Leica, writing a letter is not going to help. It's hearsay in court. The person that is making that statement has to be present and subpoenaed as a witness for it to be accepted in court. I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's how they work. Leica, if you don't have money for a lawyer, you qualify for free legal service to help you fight your case. Go on Google and find where you can find the free legal support. The problem being is that the attorneys that CPS provide you are not dependency lawyers. They're criminal lawyers. They have a caseload of 30 or more clients. They don't have time to fight for your case, and they're paid by CPS. So that's not a really good idea. If you can find an attorney that's in dependency law that'll fight for you, you got to make them fight for you. With that time frame up, I'm going to need to say I'm off here, and I got to go. God bless you all, and thank you so much for calling in and expressing and opening up your heart. I want to thank very much from Fred from Oakland, California. I hope you can get guardianship of your stepdaughter. Lelanda, you're going to have to get the doctor that made the statement that it's prescription drugs that causes the test into court. You have to subpoena them to get to court, get this cleared up. And Leica from South Africa, thank you for your help and all your talk this morning. I think I covered everybody. God bless you all. And I look forward to seeing you tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There will be a brief message after I sign off from Mr. Davis.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out. Join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.